I just come in there and look for knockouts, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who wants to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
Demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Man, we got so much to talk about tonight. Salute Bills in the building. Salute Victor Colon in the building. I appreciate y'all for showing up. What's up, Bodywork? 100% Boricua. I ain't seen you in a minute, Victor, man. Good seeing you, though. Good seeing you back in the building, man. But, we got so much, man. And I know some of this, the people who've been pretty much perusing the internet and watching, some of this might be like some refried beans, Always say like minds. Bronze, man. Salute. But I always say that like minds, and that means that some people are going to come up with the same logic and line of thinking and as myself. And then some people are just going to be parrots and regurgitate. I kind of limited myself and who I talked to and what I watched today. I did see a few takes and hear, like, mainly the big channels. I try to watch the big ones and try to see what kind of narrative they're going to drive about it and what they're going to say about it. And then, see which way major media is going to try to take this. And what I can honestly say, man, is that gaslighting is still ever present. That I haven't been back in the building, Bodywork, but I always see your channel. Okay, I appreciate that. That's good to know, man. I appreciate that, man. But I wanted to see how major media was going to try to push this, and they always gaslight, right? One of the nastiest things today I seen was let me get into it. I want to do the proper thing and really show that it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. You know what I'm saying? The rabbit got the gun, man. The young man stayed poised. He did his thing. A last minute, the plans changed. He was elevated to being the main card and had to shoulder that load in an environment that was foreign to him only. He's no stranger to that ring. And he did his thing. Needless to say, I'm what they say, godly proud of the young man. I had just done a piece on this man not too long ago, and I was calling him the potential prototype. I know y'all see the influence with Ring Magazine, where they done took that cartoon image that I had over here. They took this same cartoon image, just so I know, took that same cartoon image with the braids and the purple shorts, and then they added a whole cartoon image with him and Keyshawn and put him side by side with Keyshawn in hand wraps and using this. So the influence is there. I'm not worried about that. You know what I'm saying? If only the logic and the way I think influentially was there, not just the IP, not just the intellectual property, but you can't do nothing about that once you put it out here online. I believe that the man was, you know, the potential prototype, and I've been speaking on him, speaking on guys like Brian Norman, and it seems like it's taking flight. It's seeming like it's taking flight, man, where it's a crop of new young fighters who really want their name up in lights the right way. They want to put their family name on the map the right way. It's like when they themselves get in front of the camera, they say all the right things. And when they get inside the ring, they do their thing. Well, I start inside the ring. I evaluate their talents and abilities inside the ring, how they conduct themselves, how they face adversity, how they bounce back, how they listen to the tutelage of their corner, you know, and then string along the fights and watch the progression in every fight. And as I need to, I'll start looking at these guys outside the ring, right? So I wanted to give Abdullah Mason, him and all his you know, his father and his brothers, and how they conduct themselves. I wanted to give them a emphatic salute for how they handle their business, right? They are a breath of fresh air in this new era where clout is everything, and you can run around saying, you know, things like Muhammad Ali ain't got nothing on me, and I'll beat down King Kong's leg and all this, and then you can go out there and joust, fence, you know what I'm saying, play Ring Around the Rosies, and then you still want your name up on the Mount Rushmore. Well, to be in my box is to watch. To be in my box is to watch, which in my box is to watch. Abdullah Mason is the tarantula. In my box is to watch. That's what I call him. You know, and the guys that I watch, they I no longer like the safety first fighters. You know what I'm saying? I peeped Abdullah Mason say something in an interview not too long ago when he was asked about another fighter, because they're always making these comparisons and then asking these fighters about other fighters. He said, well, you know, he said he's a safety first fighter, you know, so he's going to look for his defense and this and that. You know, he said, like, I'm looking to do what I'm looking to do every time. I'm looking to go in there and make them look like the rest. You know what I'm saying? I got an appetite for smoke, and I'm going to make every opponent look like the rest of them. You know what I'm saying? He ain't saying he going to go down there and knock snot bubbles out of them, or he going to make them quit. He going to make whatever happens. You know what I'm saying? Like he made Buddy quit last night. That was a quit. Look like the rest, right? People that already had some kind of standard, you know, because it's so funny how certain boxers, right, their favorite boxer can't bust a grape, couldn't bust a grape, but the expectations for Abdullah Mason was for him to stop Nakathia in the second round. I'm like, stop it. You know what I'm saying? We wanted him to go in there and handle his business. We wanted him to go in there and get the dub. Now, he's not a safety first fighter. He let his hands go. He's very tactical, you know, and the more he fights, you start to see more of his tools and how he adjusts and how he implements some of the things that he learned in his last fight to the present fight, you know, and the way that he talks, the way that he plays chess with this media, in this nasty media that we're in, where he don't allow them to trick him. He doesn't allow them to trick him. You know, and when it comes down to the questions and stuff like that, he's very poised in his answers, and he takes his time when he responds. It's almost like he uses boxing IQ outside the ring for a change. He answers the questions. The only time, and even last night I seen it when he was just like, no comment. I'm not gonna comment on that, you know, blah, blah, blah. That was the first time I seen him do it, but it was very appropriate when he did it. So I wanted to give Abdullah his praises. He looked good with the He looked good with the straight jab. You know, he looked very comfortable moving around the ring. His defense, his the way he moved his feet, the way he stayed tight, you know what I'm saying, kept a tight guard, was in and out, because Nakathila was trying to land some of them haymakers, you know what I'm saying? Every now and again, he would swing and try to land some of them haymakers, you know what I'm saying? He might have touched, when I say touched, but he might have landed a couple punches, but for the most part, he was whiffing. You know, even in all that action, Abdullah had him whiffing. You know what I'm saying? He didn't allow himself to get caught with one of them wish punches that Nakathila was going, got a cut over the eye. They had Nakathila in the corner and they said, "Are you good?" He said, "I am not good." He said, "Hold on, are you good?" "I am not good." So in other words, Abdullah Mason made him not feel good. And when he came out, man, I was already looking. I said, man, that man Nakathila came in looking sleepy. You know, when he came, I seen it. But he got one of them faces where he just looked like that. You know what I'm saying? Nakathila just looked like that. Looked like he ready to go get a good night's rest. I bet you he got a good night's rest last night. You know, and the young man in front of a foreign crowd was able to secure the victory, look very impressive doing it. He maintained his focus. He maintained his poise. And even the interviews, he handled everything like he's been here before. So I applaud them. That's the introduction to tonight, right? But I know what everybody want to get to. Everybody wants to get to the juicy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, they say that one man's trash is another man's treasure. So one man went from sugar to shit in the span of 3 days. The presser, the weigh-in, and fight night. In the span of 3 days, he went from sugar to shit. But I disagree. This did not happen in the span of 3 days. What do you mean, Mike? If you listen, I'm going to tell you, right? If some of us that been out here speaking on this, and they say this man here is an ambassador. He's like the ring ambassador. But I say that he is here to put the ass in ambassador. He is here to put the ass in ambassador. Right now, the things that he's done will be leading his career into a dumpster fire, because everything, the stench from all of these activities over these last couple of days smells just like that of a dumpster fire, right? But I'm here to tell you that the last 3 days, this is when everybody started finally saying, you know what, they really started speaking out about it and started saying things. But this is a combination over the last couple of months. This is a combination of when stardom started, when that beam started shining down on him and the glow, and he started his glow up. This been started. This is a combination of people being around a young man, not checking him, not pulling his coattail, not pulling him to the side and saying, hey, you know what I'm saying? If I was you, you know, I wouldn't move like that. Sit down, talk to me. You know, like the Andre Wards, the Terrence Bud Crawfords, you know, the Sean Porters, like anybody around that could probably, but I'm guessing, man, you can't tell the young man nothing. They think that they don't stink. You know what I'm saying? They think that they smell like roses. But I think Andre 3000 said roses really smell like boo-boo. You know what I'm saying? Don't quote me. That might have been Ephesians or something. I think that might have been Ephesians 4:3 or something. I don't know, man. Don't quote me. But he put the ass in ambassador. And lately, these last couple of days, Keyshawn has been showing his... And I've been pointing this out, right? Because I always have conversations, enjoying live, especially over there in the smoke session, where it's a lot of people that back all things B&B. And sometimes it get a little uncomfortable because it's almost like you can't keep it real. You can't keep it all the way 100. You can't keep it a buck. You can't keep it 10 times 10 when you are around people that have an affinity for a special fighter. And a lot of the times, like even when I used to be going over to the Rise, I used to go over to the Rise all the time. It was the same way. It was the same way. It's like, even though I'm probably one of the biggest Tank fans on the planet, it's like when you go to places where it's like, that's all they about, like they all about that. Some of the people that go for them, they'll try to out fan you, or you can't be critical of, and it's just like, so I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to continue to do that over there on the Rise. I give them they salutes all day, every day. I back what they doing. Like they got my love. Like they hear from the city. They put stakes in the ground. They doing wonderful things. It just, but as for me as a content creator and as a person that like to talk about boxing, when you're in an environment like a pure boxing environment where I put them all on the scales, it don't benefit me nothing to be somewhere where that's all you want to do is let somebody sing their praise and they worship. And anytime you say anything that they either don't understand, don't want to understand, they'll put you in under that scope and make it seem like you're hating on them. I've experienced that as well. Yeah, so that's why I don't go certain places. So that's why I keep my platform, I keep what I do over here open to where it's been time where I've been dialoguing, especially with my man AC. Might have been dialoguing with my man AC. I've been looking at it one way, we doing some light sparring. You know what I'm saying? He might touch the rib, but I might be like, hey, you got a point. I didn't look at it like that. But I'm open-minded. A lot of these people, man, these fans of today, they develop a cult-like following where you can't tell the people that surround them or whatever part of the nest or whatever, you can't tell them nothing. I told you I've told the people that lend me an ear and was able to hear me loud and clear that there are certain people that I deem as untouchables. Like you can't say anything about Devin Haney. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't say nothing about Terrence Bud Crawford. Nothing. You can't say anything about Boots. Absolutely nothing. Keyshawn was starting to be one of them guys where you can't say anything about him. Nothing. Or it's going to start a riot. That's where we at, man. It's like, no. All of these boxes need to be put on the scales. And if you are not being disingenuous in your talk show, you should be able to discuss it. I got timed out today on the biggest channel out here on YouTube. Once again, I'm starting to get timed out more and more. And I'm guessing, I guess he think my little membership, my little whatever, couple dollars I pay a month ain't worth it. But I'm about to just go ahead and cancel the shit because it's like I keep saying, people do not like the truth. They don't like the truth. It's like it's the craziest thing in the world where you're supposed to be thriving and you're supposed to be part of morality. You're supposed to be trying to, push things forward, motivate the conversation but when in the heart of hearts, people like the messiness. They like the gossip. They like all the Breakfast Club type stuff. The reason why I got timed out is I said, listen, this guy always picks the stupidest aspect of the conversation and harp on it. And I said, man, stop. I said, gaslighting extraordinaire. That's what I said. So he put a little gun emoji in the little water gun emoji down there, and then he timed me out. He said it would take 30 minutes off for being stupid. So what were we talking about? What was the conversation at that point? People were talking about how it didn't look right that after having missed weight, that Keyshawn was sitting up there eating popcorn, and they were showing it. I mean, I've seen memes with people showing them being all big, eating popcorn. And he was actually, and this man was really up there talking about, well, if you look at it, if you Google it, if you use your Google, you'll actually see that eating popcorn one of the most healthiest things that you can be doing, as long as you don't do this. I'm like, man, you always pick the silliest part of the conversation and harp on it, and that's a form of gaslighting. That's why I talk about gaslighting all the time. Gaslighting. It's like everybody know that, yeah, okay, popcorn could be one of the healthier snacks. That's not the point. The point is he missed weight And then he was out there and people saw him eating popcorn after he missed weight and said, look, I'm not even going to try to make it. I just blew it. I did this on intentional. I never had no plans on making it. He tried to say he stayed up late, he tried to stay up late or whatever, and then the weight just wasn't coming off, so he just sound like the same script Shakur used right before he did it. Only I guess his team was a little bit more smarter because they was able to make some concessions and the fight went on. This guy was so bold and blaring that he was just like, look, I ain't make weight, I couldn't make it no more. And then they asked him when they kept asking about it, he said, it just is what it is. Even when they tried to come back and do the little interview and the little interview after the weigh-in, where they had the ring behind them, just like when they be doing the camp lives or whatever, he still said, I just couldn't make the weight. It is what it is. Like with no compromise or no nothing. But if you follow this major media trail, it's very odd that right when Jaime Munguia popped, right? When Jaime Munguia popped, this show came out and did something about a matchup between two other fighters. They didn't come out and get out in front of it. I was like, well, what happened with all the outrage when Ryan popped? There was all this outrage about Ryan missing weight and all this, and I can't stand that people keep bringing up that analogy, man. Like this Ryan missing weight and Keyshawn missing weight, that's apples and oranges. It's apples and oranges. Ryan wasn't the Olympian. Ryan wasn't top ranked, like about to be the face of top rank. But the bottom line is Ryan was not the champion. Yes, he was the A-side. But see, it's crazy how people want to pick and choose when they want to acknowledge or look at all the things that it entails when somebody's an A-side versus when somebody is a champion. It's like those are like the semantics. Those are the semantics, right? It's just like when people choose to use accolades, accomplishment, like legacy. When I said that's just finagling accomplishments, like it's nasty work. But I noticed this channel, they didn't want to come out and get in front of it or really harp on the whole Jaime Munguia popping hot. And with this topic, they didn't want to come out and get on front of this and basically say, even when they found out the man missed weight, they didn't want to come out and say anything. Why? Because they want to stay in the good graces of their coaches and all this. Well, they're part of the problem too. Because if you do that for everybody else, right? And in your setting and in your platform, it's okay for people to openly say whatever they want about another fighter. But I can't tell the truth about the fighter that you want or that you like. That don't make no sense. That's actually disgusting. To me, you can lie. You can say whatever. So if there's a couple fighters I like, you can pick and like, so if Jamel come up, you can say whatever the hell you want about him. If Errol Spence come up, you can say, you let your people on your platform say whatever the hell you want about him. If Tank come up, you will let people openly slander and give mistruths all over him. But somebody tell the truth about Shakur, somebody tell the truth about Keyshawn, depending on what day it is. If they tell the truth about Canelo, if they tell the truth about Belonga, any of these guys, it's off with your head. That means we know what it's all about. Well, this is not the only time where I myself been telling the truth on Keyshawn, and I was trying to, man, I like Keyshawn. My old head, he liked Keyshawn. I said, well, I'm gonna do more videos like inspired by my old head, because I always asked my old head. My old head was the one who actually would put me on it anyway. So inspired by him and doing stuff for him and the things that he liked, I would do things about, like right now, he like Billy. He's big on Billy. I said, I'm about to start doing some videos about Billy because he like Billy. So I said, man, like inspired by him, and what little I had seen about Keyshawn, other than, I'm talking about outside of people pushing these new boxes and all that, I was doing videos about Keyshawn. I'm like, okay, I like this guy. I like his personality. I like his fighting style. He's coming into his own. I was going along, and then I started peeping certain things that me no like. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. We already got enough pushback it's enough people that, you know, we gotta, as boxers, our boxers, they already got enough that they gotta go through when they're going against the grain. Because I'm one of them guys to where sometimes it's like, if I don't really have nothing good to say, I'm not gonna be on a bandwagon to trash it. I just won't say nothing at all. And when boxing get too toxic for me, this is a channel where if boxing get too toxic for me, I'll take off for a couple of days. You know what I'm saying? I have people that rock with my channel that understand that, because if it ain't nothing good, I'm not just gonna be up here regurgitating what everybody else say. That's just not me. So I'll take off. So as I was doing my things on Keyshawn, I started noticing some things that I was at one point in time, I was calling him Clout Sean. Because I say, man, you do anything for clout. You do anything for clout. And then I noticed that, okay, Top Rank was behind the shenanigans. That's why the other day when I did that piece and I highlighted what Zattel said in that interview, right? That interview with Raheem, that's when I came up with these. When I actually went over these things right here. Let me find it for you. Let me find it for you. When I came out with this, weight bullying, clout chasing, matchmaking, biased media, sausage eating fans, fake promotional schemes, narratives, and fake outrage. When I came out and I did the piece when I came out and I did this piece right here, I said, man, Keyshawn basically exposed, he's exposed boxing in all these different ways. And those were my bullet points. Those were my bullet points on them. Weight bullying. The clout chasing aspect of it. The fact that there's been a lot of matchmaking, right? But in the contrast to this guy here, he was not handpicking his opponents. In a way, you can say he had the machine behind him, but it was because of his skills, and he was being put on the undercard as a blooming artist. Because we all know that Top Rank is perhaps the best. It's the best promotional company for the starter pack. They can take you from not having anything to getting you all the way up to where, okay, we made you a champion, and take you all the way. I think they do the best job at it. That's what I give them credit for. I don't just hate on Top Rank. That's what I give them credit for. And it was a young fighter that I know, you know what I'm saying, personally, that I was like, man, hey, going there, that'll be the best thing for you, man. Everybody know that that's what they're groomed for, man. They will guide you right. All you gotta do is when them big bright lights, shine bright, you gotta match the big bright lights and shine bright as well. Listen to your coaches, listen to them, and yes, I'm with it, man. You do that, you're gonna get there. So I give them credit. But this young man, he might have had a little bit of the machine behind him, but not like this guy. Not like this guy. And toward the tail end, what I found so bad about the whole ordeal with him and, the whole, Nair Albright and the altercation that happened behind closed doors. Everybody's picking and choosing what they want to acknowledge about that whole situation. But what I want to highlight is one of the only places, and it's so crazy, one of the only takes I've heard today that align with what I was saying in this one under fake promotional schemes. One of the only people I've heard anything, I ain't even see the whole thing. I think I only seen like 5 minutes of it, maybe a little bit more, was the guy Radio Raheem and Sean Zattel when they were talking about it. Radio Raheem is the only guy that actually sided without me having to be in a part of a discussion or in a chat or whatever, was the only person I heard bring this up that look at this the same exact way as me. I said, dang. See, some of these guys, they're not bad. It's just whatever setting and when they choose to be real or not, or when they're being quote unquote company men. So Radio Raheem, he's definitely not being a company man. He's over there with Sean Zattel, and they just kicking it, talking about all these things. Said a lot of truthful things in that interview the other day, and I'm like, this is the Sean Zattel that I like, not the one that be gaslighting, doing interviews in real time. Not I like, well, I guess if you could say this is hindsight, I like the hindsight Sean Zattel. Like when he feel like it's okay for him to be real about something. That's the Sean Zattel that I like. Never had anything against the dude Radio Raheem, but like I actually like his takes. Starting to like his takes. He's the only one that agreed with me or actually brought this point up. When they started talking about, well, maybe this is another, maybe this is a way for Nair Albright to get a Keyshawn Davis too. And then when you flip over to what's his name? Bernardo Osuna. When you flipped over to Bernardo Osuna and Mark Kriegel and them, they were already trying to outline or flip this into Keyshawn Davis, since he's 40 and Nair Albright already 40 for it to be a Keyshawn Davis and Nair Albright 2. I was like, man, if y'all don't get that shit out of here somewhere, man, like that's like the dumbest shit I ever heard. First of all, but see, that just goes to show you like the real vein of boxing. Like some people don't care. They be talking that morality stuff and how there's right and there's wrong and there's a way to conduct yourself and gotta watch your behavior and role model type and all of these things that professionals and champions, they'll use all of that jargon. And that's just what it is, jargon. Because I'm like, how would you even form your lips before you even got down to figure out, okay, man, why was the guy assaulted in any kind of way? Whether he got jumped, because I see people trying to muddy the water. Well, actually, he didn't get jumped. It was only just Keyshawn. It's like, nah, man, y'all don't even know. People don't even know the whole story. But because of their biasness and the fact that they want to support and get behind and, the gate or whatever, because they think that a star is getting ready to, crash. He already crashed out. They want to muddy the water between whether Nair Albright got jumped, whether it was just Keyshawn and headbutt him. Either way, somehow, some way, they got into the locker room. People say, well, how did he get into the locker room? Well, sometimes after a fight, people go into other people's locker room and they be like, hey, man, it's all good, bro. Like, man, good fight. You did your thing, man. Much love to you. You know what I'm saying? We'll meet up. We'll talk. So sometimes it's a formality where, yeah, they might let some people in there, but they don't let nobody in there knowing they're going to get assaulted. And ain't nobody see nothing or say nothing. So before you even get down and do the full investigation and figure out, okay, what's going to happen with Nair Albright? Is he going to be compensated? What kind of retribution is he going to receive? Like, what's going to happen with him first? I know that they're talking about it, and I guess he got a good team, because if his team, if let's just say if Floyd Schofield, to my understanding, if he had a team like Nair Albright, maybe we could have still got that fight over there in Saudi, quiet as kept. But because they wanted to run to the media and say blah, 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 I would say Nair Albright's team, they try to make it seem like, oh, man, yeah, it's good, man. We all right, man. Like, man, maybe we can get a fight, too. They're keeping it in the vein of promotion, which a good team should do. And what they're saying behind closed doors and how they handle the ramifications to getting taken care of, that's something totally different. But some things you keep close to the vest. You smile, you laugh, you do the little political wave and all that, cheese for the cameras. And then behind closed doors, you get down to business so it's not all ugly and nasty. So I applaud Nair Albright's team for that. But before they even had some kind of rectification as to why he got assaulted, period, they're already top rank and they musty asses were already moving on to try to promote a Nair Albright 2, Keyshawn Davis 2 at 40. It's like, well, you don't know what the ramifications are going to be yet unless y'all already known and y'all were being company. Man, I found that musty work. Well, radio said no. He said no. He said that's ridiculous. He said no. He said I wouldn't. He said that right now is not even the time to be entertaining no Keyshawn Davis and Nair Albright too. He was like, no, are you? He said, are you kidding me? It's no way. So I agree with that. I agree with that take. You know what I'm saying? And Sean had already said that as time went on, Keyshawn he'd been seeing the changes and how Keyshawn actually been changing. Well, in the vein of me actually telling you that, man, listen, man, I'm telling you, that's why, man, I love the way I do the channel. Like, yes, it might not be the most popular. Yes, it might not always rub people the right way, but I don't think that I do it in a distasteful way. I think I just speak the truth. Let it be known. Try to uplift who I can uplift and keep it a buck. Keep it 10 times 10, all the way 100 on all of them, because we want them all to get paid. We know they have a very hazardous profession where they get hit in the head for a living, and they could be young men doing something else. So I applaud them all. I want them all to do well. I want them all to stay active. I want them all to get big paydays and, you know, and do all of that. But in the process of me just doing what I do, because if I didn't like you, I just wouldn't do content on you. But I was doing content on Keyshawn. I was following the bouncing ball all along, and I recall an episode. That I did back in February that will actually highlight and let you know that I really just be keeping it a buck. Hold on one second. I want y'all to hear this. This is mine, so I don't got to do the whole copyright thing, but I want y'all to hear this. I want y'all to hear this and the approach that I took in covering Keyshawn and some of the things that I started saying, nah, you know what I'm saying? And then you can also hear some of the things that I said back in February that people are coming around to say right now. The very same things. This one was called Cinematic, a script for the ages. A script for the ages. Hold on real quick. Here we go. Hold on. I'm still here. Here you go.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. Man, salute. I want to get this out the way. I want to say salute to Keyshawn Davis, the Norfolk, Virginia native, did his thing. He etched himself in the history books with a win over Denis Baranchek, the Olympian Ukrainian WBO champion. Right, and no sooner than the man could, get started on enjoying his victory. Did the narrative start? Did the goalpost move start? You know, I've been one of them guys that's been tracking these guys. I track 140. I pretty much feel like that's my division, 135 as well. You know, and I have my fighters that I really rock with and really keep a bird's eye view on. You did. But, man, already, I'm like, and this is why it seems like certain people just deemed as haters, detractors, whatever you want to call it, when all they doing is keeping it 10 times 10. You know, I have been saying for the longest time, even up until the last time after the Gustavo Lemos fight, I saluted him, I congratulated him. The first thing he said was knock, knock, Tank. And I said, man, why are you doing this? I called out the play. I did videos about it. I said that Denis Baranchek, I was one of the first people, probably the first. You can go back and look at my videos. The first person to put out a video saying or indicating that the plan all along was to get Denis Baranchek. So I said, why call out Tank name? Like knowing that in the top rank way of doing things that you're not going to get a Tank fight. And you all already know that you have a plan. Ever since Teofimo Lopez reiterated that Top Rank has a plan. I started paying more attention and connecting the dots, following the bouncing ball all along. And lo and behold, Top Rank always has a plan. You know, the commentators, you know, they have their little script. You know, Bob, he pretty much run the plays, him or whoever else behind the scenes is doing it, because I'm thinking he's letting over the reins, you know, especially within the last year and a half. He's been probably allowing people to have different things that they partake in, that they bring to the table, because he's getting a little older in age. He's a senior. So I'm looking, I'm following, I'm saying, man, watch. I said, Keyshawn Davis is going to win this title, and I bet you he's not going to call out Tank Davis' name, right? I'm already hearing some of my fellow boxing fans, you know what I'm saying, talk about how, oh man, Tank fans this, Tank fans, no, Tank fans are actually keeping it a buck on what's going on, especially when it comes down to things surrounding Tank in that name. Because we all want to see him fight somebody, but some of these narratives got to go. I found it senseless to be using that man's name only to come around and on fight night when you got the whole world watching. You don't say the name. You say, oh, it's 2 champions, I want to see it, and this. It's like nobody wanted to hear that. We all wanted you to keep that same energy that you had when you was calling Tank name, using it for promotion. And I called it out earlier this week. I said, you're already doing the cha-cha slide. Tell me, I don't need Tank to do this. And I'm like, but you've been using his name for about the last year. You've been using his name for the last year. I think you've been playing a decoy, trying to get people off for the Shakur path, you know, let take some heat, take some steam off Shakur, you know, and it kind of worked. Because you kind of got the people that really rock with Buzz and Shakur and Keyshawn on that family tree. They're going to let them do pretty much whatever they want, because they want to, you know, they want a bandwagon. Let's be honest, they want a bandwagon. You know, as far as being proven and all this, people want to debate if Tank proven and this and this. That's like, it's not debatable. It's senseless at this point, you know, because the man name come up in conversation with anybody. Even when Bud beat Spence, he came out and told Tank, well, Tank, my chin is glad. I'll stay at 47 if you want to come up here. Anyway, was attached to everybody in the sport of boxing somehow, somewhere. Even Jake Paul is attaching themselves to that man's name, and it speaks volumes, because you know that he's that guy. I try to focus on these guys as it relates to inside the ring, and if it comes outside the ring, I will do my homework and break it down, and I will speak objectively about the situation. So when it came down to Keyshawn, I'm like, man, this young boy got talent, man. He got skills. He do show flashes of brilliance. You do see a little bud in him. He got a little mean streak in him. You know, he's definitely a big personality. But I'm like, I don't agree with everything that he does. You know, mainly this week he went on a tirade about the race stuff, blamed Baranchek for something one day, went off and doing all this stuff or whatever, and apologized to Baranchek the next day. Came out and said he's going to stop him in the first round one time, and then after that said, nah, I'm just going to beat on him. And then, like, everybody just go along with whatever, but they hold different boxers to different standards, because one boxer can't come out and say one thing without everybody twisting it up negatively. Meanwhile, other people cannot just report on the sport of boxing and report on boxers, just based on their behavior. You know, Keyshawn gave us more than enough this week. You know, T.O. gave us a little glimpse of something. You know, if you were watching the fights, Jared Anderson gave a lot of people something to talk about. Xander Zayas gave a lot of people something to talk about. Abdullah Mason gave people something to talk about. And whether you're only fans of these boxers or you just following the bouncing ball all along and reporting on them, everything is not going to be like, oh my gosh, he's a hater. Like, no, some things are just like how Cameron say it is what it is. Some things just is what it is. I heard people say that Keyshawn kept his composure during the whole thing. He kept his composure during the fight. But let's not sit up here and lie and say he wasn't crashing out before the fight. And whether or not T.O. was doing, you know, had his part in it, and I'm going to address T.O. probably again, but I'm pretty much done with it, because when I said he needed to stop all the banana and monkey talk, did a whole live, and I was, you know, basically ripping Tim Bradley and Sean Zattel for being so passive about it, right? Nobody was on it. Everybody said, oh man, Mike, you tripping. I said, you know what? Since everybody don't want to follow it, let me fall up off of it. But Top Rank, it's clear they had a script, because even after Keyshawn apologized to the guy about the whole racial thing, they made it a point all throughout the fight to say that this was his build-up because of race. People are still talking about racism. Listen, it was a concocted story. Baranchuk didn't do any of that. I don't hear anybody talking about how Baranchuk was back there taking a nap. He was back there laid out taking a nap right before he came in the ring. You know, somebody that's very, very close to me, because I reminded him, I said, yeah, man, your boy fight tonight. Somebody very, very close to me called and said, man, it looked like a scripted championship. And I said, you know what? Keyshawn handled business, and he stuck to the script. You got to remember, man, Top Rank and them, if you really look close and you follow along, you follow the bouncing ball, you'll see that they had a script, man. It was a whole script. They couldn't sell the fight. Most of these guys, man, they really can't sell themselves without attaching themselves to another fighter. So Keyshawn attached his name to Tank all this time. Said, you know, I'm not going to fight Shakur. I said he started doing the cha-cha slide just this week when he said, I don't need Tank. And then he pulled up Isaac Pitbull Cruz and then said it was at a catch weight. And nobody said nothing. Nothing. So, and at this point, man, I know about more fighters that Keyshawn Davis won't fight as opposed to the amount of fighters that he will. I know he won't fight Andy Cruz. He gets visibly upset when you mention him. Now he don't need Tank. He's BFFs with Shakur Stevenson. Now he don't even want to fight T.O. Even though the impetus for wanting to fight him in the first place was because of a racial tirade. Eureka! Now all of a sudden, he feels as though T.O. has went past the point to where he don't deserve a payday. I'm like, you giving out paydays now? Like, this is what I said, man. I said, after the Buzz Spence thing, I am not going to go off on a tangent. I'm not going to part the Red Sea like Moses and be so divided to where I can't look at all of these guys honestly and objectively and then take a stance on what I want as it pertains to the vitality or the health of the sport. And a lot of people can't do that. Right now, it's tribalism heavy, man. Everybody just want to say, even though when you look at after the fight, right, when they asked Bomac about the fight, he said Dennis Baranchuk was trash. And the dude said, man, he trash. Bomac said he was trash. And then the man said, well, he is tough. He said, listen, I'm not talking about his tough. Yeah, he is a tough guy. But Bomac, he didn't cut no cut. And that's what I like. He didn't cut no, he said he was trash. We don't know what he was planning on doing. We don't know what his angle was coming into that fight, what his motivation was. You know, he didn't look like he was up for that fight. And I made a new rule after Earl Spence and Bud, where I said that I'm no longer giving people any excuses. If you get your tail in that ring and somebody do something bad to you, I'm not making an excuse for you because you chose to get in that ring. Dennis chose to get in that ring. Keyshawn Davis did his thing. Straight did his thing.
So some of us have been keeping it right and exact, calling it straight down the middle for quite some time, man. It's just in real time, people going to say you hating. So I just pointed out how Bomac said Dennis Baranchuk was trash and how they did that stinky ass, look at this bulletin point, fake promotional schemes. They did a fake promotional scheme when it came down to the whole Dennis Baranchuk shit. With the bananas and all that, even included T.O. And if you recall, just in February, he started saying, I don't need Tank to build myself after he called his name for about a year. Him and Shakur got on that BFF stuff, so that wiped Shakur off of the table. Then he came on and said, I don't want to fight T.O. He was saying that back then. I have it on wax. So the games are over, man. The games are over. And that's why I came up with this, man. It's like if you follow along and you just not you just not gonna, wear the knee pads and spray the throat coat, you will already see, man, this man had been on the way to a dumpster fire, man. It's just like playing craps. At some point in time, man, you're gonna get snake eyes. You're gonna crap out. At some point in time. And it's all these people. It's always this one dude named Major Media, man. I gotta give this dummy a shout out. I got to. And people like that, yeah, they live. You know how they say they live rent free in your head. People like that do live rent free in my head, because I'd be like, man, I can't believe it's some dumbass people out here that's just that dumb. They're just that stupid. And want to talk boxing. These are the people that don't get the sport nowhere. These are the people that if you get caught and you do something crazy because you was drinking or you was high and you did something crazy, those will be the people that say, oh, nah, man, go ahead, man. You can drive, man. You just had like, what, 6 beers? You only had, what, 7 shots? You good. Those be them dumbass people. They do that shit in the sport of boxing. They do that shit in the sport of boxing. This dumbass dude, no matter what Shakur do, no matter what Keyshawn do, he always got a goddamn excuse and always, oh man, the hate for whatever. It's not hate, bro. Like, that is one of the most abused sayings in boxing. When you start telling the truth, oh man, the hate for Devin. Oh man, the hate for. Ain't nobody saying that about Tank though. So you can quote unquote keep it real about Tank, and ain't nobody gonna stop. Ain't nobody gonna say, "Oh man, the hate for Tank." But no, you will hear these dumbass fans always bringing up the hate for somebody when you're actually telling the truth on them or about them. When you're actually lining up facts. When you pulling back the veil and you're not just. Like, you got to go beyond the surface with this, because really we all have an objective. We want to see the big fights, right? That's what we all want to do. That's why we sit around and talk about boxing. That's what keeps us excited. So no matter how they tried to like shit on the fight with De Los Santos, with this fight, no matter how much they tried to shit on this fight, no matter how much they tried to discredit this guy, we all wanted to see this fight. Remember when I told y'all about that scene on Jason's lyric when she said, "Don't get me all worked up if you can't hose me down." When she was talking to Tretch, they got us all worked up, but couldn't hose us down. And whose fault was it? But that's the thing with the new generation, like these new young people, right? Like, because when I always talk about it, at 44 years of age, when I was young, when I was in my 20s, even growing up, our old heads, the ones that was right above us, would be like, nah. Around my way, they'll be like, nah, young blood. They'll call you young blood. Nah, young blood. They used to call us young blood. Nah, young blood. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. Like, nah, young blood, you going down the wrong path. And especially if they knew you was a good kid, right? They would keep you out of the street. They'll say, nah, this ain't no place for you. Or nah, you need to go do something else. Take your ass to school. Stay in them books. Do this, do that. But these new ones, you can't tell them nothing. You can't say, nah, man, you ain't got to do that. Like, nah, you ain't got to shit on your brother. You ain't got to shit on your brother for the come up. You don't got to go that route. You don't got to use racism to promote yourself, T.O. You don't got to use racism, Keyshawn. You don't got to use colorism, Keyshawn. All this light skin, dark skin shit, that's like the dumbest stuff in the world to me, man. The dumbest stuff in the world. You don't got to do that. But you can't tell them nothing. You can't tell these young guys nothing. But these are things that, because of the people around them and all they see is money, and because, you know, the people that they interview, all they see is money, that's all you're going to get. They're going to be in what you call an enabler. When you keep providing people, and right now today, most of the time it's a platform or it's an audience, right? If you provide them a big enough platform or a big enough audience, they don't even gotta rock with you. But if they think that through your audience they can get through and a number of people can actually hear them, let's just say they know that you got 800-900 people watching, they might not even rock with you. They don't agree with nothing. They don't even know you. They will go on the platform because you're giving your audience an opportunity to hear what they gotta say. That's all that matters. All that matters, if they get that one little take, that one little clip that they can do a short out of and then spread that, that's all that matters, because relevancy is the new drug. But I got a question for y'all. The businessman was getting ready to become an icon, and he still could. You know, I don't think that this is beyond redemption, but I do think that this is one of those things. It's just like when I said that TO stuff needed to be nipped in the bud back in November. Back in November, when I was saying, nah, we don't need to tolerate it. And now today, I would say probably we in June, I would probably say May is when people had it all the way up to here and said, no, something got to be done. Look at that curve. So we talking about a 6-month curve. From when I was saying that shit need to be nipped in the bud back in November till we looking at May. And then, you know, May is when I finally started hearing people say they were just fed up and something need to be done. But look at the curve. It's a 6-month curve. Look at this curve with Keyshawn, where I say, man, somebody need to sit down and talk to that young man. Somebody need to sit down and pull him to the side and say, nah, bro, the expectations are so high for you. You're not going to have as many chances. Like, if you think that Keyshawn's going to have as many opportunities to mess up, especially in the public's eye like T.O. did, you're gravely mistaken. People like Keyshawn, they don't get as many chances. Reaction for it. And sometimes, you know why it needs to be? It's just like when a child keep doing stuff. If you don't ever like spank them or discipline them or do nothing, they will get in the habit of just figuring out how to get away with it better. So if there is never no disciplinary action or nothing, like I learned that in the military. If you don't ever get disciplined, like if you don't ever get caught, it's like sometimes they're drunk driving, sometimes you need to get caught. Because when you gotta pay that ticket or you gotta do some time or you gotta do something crazy, like, yeah. And when I was in the military, you gotta do 45 days of extra duty and restriction, and they taking half your pay. Yeah, you start learning real quick that, oh no, I can't do that. Oh no, I can't, But when you slide by, you know these people that they always get themselves in mischief, but they always kind of slide by and they always kind of get the benefit of the doubt and they always kind of get leniency and get shown leniency. What they do? They take bigger and bigger and bigger risks. So let's just say hypothetically, right? It didn't look like nothing was wrong, because we see this happen in boxing all the time where it don't look like nothing wrong with a fighter, right? Like he done took some punishment, he done got hit in the head. Don't even look that bad, especially when people get hit in the back of the head. Seen a little bit of that. You get a little cobwebs. People, when they're in the clinch, somebody might hit you like right in the back of the head. And it don't look like nothing, but then later on they go on, they say, oh man, you know they had to induce a coma to give the brain time to heal and do all of this. But let's just say, hypothetically, let's just say, yeah, Albright won the fight. He go back to the locker room. He thinking, okay, I'm celebrating. Okay, they can hear us on the other side. We celebrating and everybody singing my praises because we came down in this man's backyard. We went the distance. We got a no contest with the middle brother, the star child, the middle child. Like J. Cole said, we went the distance with the middle child, the star. Now we getting picked. We just picked off the older brother and we did it in the lion's den. We stuck our hand all the way down the lion's throat and came out with the prize. And we celebrating. And then the two brothers come in and somehow, some way, something happened. You get headbutted. Well, what if after taking all that punishment, what if later on he lay down and he don't wake up again? What if he would have fell and hit his head after being, you know what I'm saying, got concussed after going through a 10-round bout? And it didn't look like nothing, but it wound up being something. Then what? Then everybody be in hindsight is 2020, looking at everybody be like, nah, man, that was wrong. And then but see, that's how it is nowadays. Somebody already got to go way too far before people really realize. Y'all seen that movie Higher Learning? Where things just got way too far. It could have got nipped in the bud way before that. It just went way too far. But to preserve our sport, man, something got to be done. Somebody got to sit this young man, and they got to sit him down and talk to him, man. And just like all them interviews with Andre Ward and how he can call on Floyd and how he got Bud in this corner, even though Bud, he wiped away. He just basically said, oh, man, people miss weight all the time. The other brother, Avius Griffin, that's the welterweight who's, you know, doing his thing. He part of the camp. He said, oh, man, you know, well, he had already said that he had been having problems. Everybody just so dismissive. But these are older brothers. These are older brothers, older men that's having a level of success, and especially when they get down to Shakur, when they get down to Floyd, when they get down to Bud, when they get to these people that's supposed to be the higher echelon, somebody got to pull their brother to the side and have a talk with him. Don't just be along for the ride and affiliation and give him tidbits on the way up. Give him something that's going to keep him there. Check him. Because that's what he need. Don't wait till it's too late, and then don't start using the thing that they always like to use, y'all. The stuff that you shouldn't be taking lightly, but they always pull that old ace in the hole. The same thing Ryan did. The same thing T.O. be doing. They always pull out that mental health card. That's like on Monopoly, that's like a get out of jail free card. They always pull that out on you. Don't let them do that. Because you can't play around with that. But you got to stay away from things that might trigger you going on that downward spiral. And what I find funny is Keyshawn was the Olympian. He came from the Olympic pedigree. He was a silver medalist. He's traveled to different countries. Him and Troy Osley and Tiger and all of them. They traveled. He was comfortable to sit down and rub elbows with Michael Vick and AI, and then he got a week named after him in his city. All of these things that were just given. So all of these things, excellent promotional, you know, we got a good, I would say overall, he got a good spirit behind him, man. He got lots of energy, man. I think down at his core, I think he's a likable guy. Got everything that you would need to really be a star, right? A lot of the things that you would need to actually take you to stardom, and Top Rank chose to put him in that spot. But on the other side, you got a guy like this. You got a guy like Abdullah Mason. He might be an introvert of some sorts. Maybe. He don't have a machine. He didn't medal in the Olympics. He not BFFs with Shakur Stevenson. He can't call Floyd. Well, maybe he can call Floyd, but he don't have Floyd on speed dial where he can have him pull up to the gym and sitting across from Andre Ward and getting them taken under the wing, being in the same campus. But he don't have all that. But guess what? His name is still in the conversation. So what does that tell you, class? You ain't got to do all that extra shit to wind up in the same position. That's why it was so beautiful when Keyshawn thought that he was catching this man up, and he was like, well, let's fight now, knowing he was being Capshawn at that point in time, because he knew damn well he was moving up. Right in that moment, the young man said, well, I'm sure my team could put together something, man. We can make something happen. He said, no, you could put it together. You the man. He was like, well, look, I'm going to let my hands do the talking. And guess what happened? He landed in Keyshawn's spot, man. Headlining his event. That's why I say Abdullah Mason benefits from karma. See, a lot of time we recognize karma, right? We recognize bad karma. And when you do something you ain't supposed to do, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe a lot of people be saying, man, if you was a player and you did all this and that when you was younger, you gonna have nothing but daughters or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So when instead of worrying about one of them things, you're gonna have to worry about all the rest of the things in the world because you got a daughter and you trying to keep her off of that pole. Abdullah Mason benefited from good karma. He wasn't a crash out. He didn't crash out and spaz out and break down and let the heat of the moment get him into some stuff and tarnish his name. Why? Because he got character. He stands for something. He got integrity. He's poised. He wound up headlining. This is almost like if you read some of them allegories in the Bible, this is almost like a biblical allegory for where the spot that this young man just landed in. With a guy who was all the hype, who they might be viewing like a liability now. He crashes out. He's unprofessional. He misses weight. He loses his belt on the scale. He don't even have a fight. You get bumped up in his spot when he was saying fight you next, and he knew damn well he wasn't even going to be at the weight class. If that don't sound like one of them biblical allegories, I don't know what does. But this was good karma that he benefited from. And what did he do? He showed up and he showed out. And guess what that showed? He just add water. I would still take my time with Abdullah Mason. It would be no rush for me. I wouldn't even be in no rush for him. I know what the young man aspired to do and be, but I would really take my time with Abdullah Mason, man, and make sure that every move is calculated because you got something special in this. This is just add water. These are like a lot of my boxes to watch. The one that I actually put in my box to watch. The reason why they landing there is because typically when they're fighting, I can bet on them. Cause they are good money. They are good money. It's almost like when you in traffic, right? I know y'all been in traffic. You might be on one of them 2 or 3 lane roads, you know what I'm saying? It's only 2 or 3 lanes on your side, you know. And you in the middle lane. You just going the same speed. You going, you know, you might be going 3-4 miles over the speed limit. You know what I'm saying? It might be 40. You might be going like 43, 42, 44, somewhere around there. Just cruising. Not speeding, but going with the flow of traffic. You got somebody running all up behind you, and then they getting over in the left lane, and they getting over in front of you, and they all the way in the right lane. They doing all this stuff. Just whoosh, just move from side to side to side. And they choose to get in that fast lane. You know the far left lane is the fast lane, unless it's a turning lane. They get in the far left lane, right? And they choose to get over there. And then somehow, some way, somebody else decide to get in that left lane. And then it's a light coming up. So they arrive at the light. They like 3 cars behind where the light stops at. And they got there first. But you stayed in that middle lane, going the same speed. Just cruising. And by the time you pull up and stop, Y'all both stopped at the light, but the light turned green, and guess what? You in front of them now. And they did all of that changing lanes and speeding and going through traffic and almost clipping that car and clipping it, doing all this crazy shit for y'all both to end up at the same light. But guess what? They stuck behind a car on the left that just so happened to be in a turning lane. And just when you was pulling up, the light turned green, and you ain't even really had to stop like that. That's what happened. Changing lanes, you know what I'm saying? It was just a lane change. So now one guy's looking like a burgeoning star. He gained how many fans that say, you know what? Some people went out there and said, you know, I like this young man. He put on a show. He let his hands go. Some people that probably didn't even know him. They wound up going out there, and he said, man, I hope that one day you will be able to say that you just watched your new favorite fighter. And I think for a lot of people, I think that's what he did. In Keyshawn's hometown, with all them people that came, except for the 2,000 people that wanted their tickets, that wanted their money back and bounce. I'm proud of the man, you know what I'm saying? This is a lesson, man. I think this is a lesson that other bosses can learn from, other people that's going to crash out, other people. I find it so ironic that T.O. wants to call and do a FaceTime and say, I'm sending prayers out and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. It's like, you lost, son. You need to probably go ahead and say your own prayers and worry about your own self. Because I don't know if it was clickbait. I don't know what it is, but Lamont Roach already said, man, fuck it. I'm going to let the cat out the bag. This is what's happening. Man, T.O. waiting for the rematch, for me to rematch Tank so that we can get it on later on this year. That's what Lamont Roach said. T.O., you need to worry about your own self and keep them M-bombs from flying and stop all that racial stuff, because we know you really ain't like that. And if you are, then you're going to get your karma eventually. But I wanted to put a stake in the ground for Abdullah Mason, man. I think I did a one I call it, you know, I might be a little biased, you know, so I might be a little biased or something, but I did a nice little piece on Abdullah Mason not too long ago called The Potential Prototype, man. And that's not the only piece I've done. I did a nice piece on Brian Norman. I don't know why I'd always go to that. I did a nice little piece on him. I did a nice little piece on Brian Norman not too long ago, man. And these pieces are starting to age like fine wine. Just like if you go back, if you get time and you haven't seen this one, go back and look at the video. Go back and look at the one I did on this one. Now this is right after the press conference, the day when they did the press conference. Yeah, this is the evening of when they did that press conference, and Keyshawn called himself Punked and Abdullah. Go back and listen to my take on that night, and hopefully it'll help you appreciate the channel and what I do here, because man, a lot of my stuff, man, damn near all of it, but maybe a couple of my predictions, you know what I'm saying? Maybe a couple of my predictions might be off, but outcomes of fights can't get bent out of shape for that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the takes that I have and a lot of the ways I discuss boxing, man, and the things that I say in these videos, they age like fine wine. You know what I'm saying? But if my man AC was here, he'd say like what, some 85, 88 Wagyu beef. You know what I'm saying? They age right, man. So if you don't know about Abdullah Mason, man, get to know the young man. But I say ain't no fun when the rabbit get the gun. So now this man is groomed for stardom. Somebody might have crashed out. I'm not saying this man is beyond redemption. I'm just saying that right now, man, you just put your shit like almost in a dumpster fire, and you need like damn near like an intervention. You know what I'm saying? Take your correction, take your discipline, whatever. If it's sitting down for 6 months, you know, if they're gonna tap them pockets, whatever ramifications it's gonna be, take that shit on the chin, get yourself together, man, and then let this be a lesson that, man, it could be here today and gone tomorrow, because shit, at a minimum, the purse, I think that was, and I don't really get into the numbers. I know that it was $1 million purse. Cause I always say, like on Batman, when the Joker said, never rub up against another man's rhubarb. I really don't pay attention to numbers, but for this illustration, I'm gonna say you lost $1 million payday. Whatever endorsement check he was gonna give you for that ring ambassador, all because you wanted to be an ass. All because you wanted to blow away. You didn't respect the privilege and the position you were in as a champion. And these are all things that they said about all of the, these are all the things that they said about Tank when he blew the scales as a champ. Things that they said about, they still putting this stuff up against David Benavidez when he blew the scales and got caught with the cocaine. All the things that they said about Shakur, and I was like, dang, Shakur. When that one community was all shitting on Shakur, and I was one of the channels that had his back and say, listen, man, he made a mistake. He blew weight. He this, and this. His team was smart enough to get the fight going, so he still got paid. He still put on the clinic. He still was able to demonstrate his skills. He just lost his leverage. That's why his wheels had been spinning ever since he went in. And that was the beginning of him spinning his wheels, where he kept saying, nobody will fight me when he moved up. Now you about to go through the same thing, and you had an instance that you could learn from. That's the last thing you or anybody in your camp should allow you to do, was just blow through weight. And then you have people that'll say, people who actually put on the gloves that'll say, nah, it ain't no way. Like Tim Bradley is like, nah, no way. That had to be intentional. Like, it's no way you can go in there. They said you didn't look emaciated. You didn't even try. So that was intentional. So that showed that you wanted another advantage over De Los Santos, where you had all those advantages already in your hometown, in your backyard, with all them eyeballs, your brothers there. And we already know that intimidation tactics and all that shit, you just confirmed that that's a real thing. Shit that people do behind closed, you just convinced the world and just showed proof that that's a real thing. People are going to look back at the press conference when Kelvin was actually saying it. You ain't going, he said, I went to Disney. You ain't going to Disney. We'll see if you can last 10 rounds with these. Just all out of character. And I saw that with Kelvin too, man. Started getting all out of character too, man. You ain't past redemption, but this young man right now, the rabbit got the gun now, buddy. The rabbit got the gun. Damn, I keep forgetting to do that, man. Hold on. Shoot. My bad. My bad, y'all. There you go, y'all. I forgot, man. I keep forgetting to do that. Somebody gotta tell me, man. But there you go. S.A. Killer Bees, Frenchie gang. What's going on, gang? Salute, man. I ain't seen you in a minute. Appreciate you. What's going on, AC?
What's good, man? What's good, man? I had a crazy day. I tried to get on Pops during earlier, but everybody walks in the restaurant right when that shit happening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. So, but outside of that, man, I saw your text earlier when you showed the what's the name, and I was like, that's gonna be a real good cook. Because on the back of what this is now, I just want to bring in a different dynamic. You know, for those who may know somebody who Muslim, or who are Muslim watching this, or halfway in, halfway out of Islam or whatever. When you read the hadiths and things like that, Body said something that the hadiths specifically talk about when you talk about karma. You feel what I'm saying? Muslims kinda, sorta believe in it, but don't believe in it, if that makes sense, because everything is Allah's will. But if you do certain things right, just just a wave of Allah's hand, even though he may not be paying attention to you, just a wave of his hand, you will reap those rewards. Now, Abdullah, we've been talking about, and we, you know, Body been there and you seen me get in debates where I'm like, nah, I'm just trying to tell y'all. When I look at these two gentlemen, Keyshawn and Abdullah, I say one is being maneuvered, the other one is being brought up from the mud. When you brought up from the mud, that's a safer bet. You feel what I'm saying? You could have the pedigrees, you could have a lot of things, you feel what I'm saying? But that tangible aspect of learning on the job goes a whole lot more than a college grad who may have a degree or two in that same thing. You feel what I'm saying? The Olympics is really good amateur experience. I'm not taking nothing away from that. But when you learning on the job, even if you had an Olympic pedigree and you came into the pros and you built your professional career from the mud, bro, shit like this don't happen because you appreciate. You know what low money look like, and you know what medium money look like, and you know what big money look like. Or you have an idea of what big money look like. So for me, Abdullah has done nothing but the right things. You feel what I'm saying? And right now, can't nobody on the planet, you know, pull them away from their faith, because this is the type of thing where people who do have faith say, yeah, this is why I have faith, because I did all of this and Allah put me in this situation and I was prepared, because Allah makes everything happen in Allah's time. You feel what I'm saying? So basically, to close all of that off and bring that full circle, when you always putting yourself in a position to win, you're in the gym, you're not fucking around. You know, one thing you don't see Abdullah Mason in, and I doubt that we will ever see Abdullah Mason in, is an icy chain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's way too disciplined to give a, like, bro, that shit don't make me a better fighter. That shit don't make me a better person outside the ring having a gold chain on or an iced out chain. Like, none of that bullshit matters. The fancy cars don't matter. And people, I don't know who's seen it, who didn't see it, but please go and watch the Appetite for Smoke Lil Mini documentary. That tells you everything you need to know about that man, how close his family is. You feel what I'm saying? How disciplined they are. There's a family of boys. The dad and all the brothers say we never ever fought each other. We never got that angry where we had to put hands on each other. That's a special household right there. None of this bullshit in boxing could come and fuck with that. That's a foundation right there. And when you got that type of foundation, you feel what I'm saying? And those type of fundamentals, and I'm also talking to you foundational and fundamental black dudes out there, that's what the fuck that shit really look like.
That's hard.
What Abdullah Mason is doing.
That's hard too. Like when you got all them brothers, man, because I'd have had a brother, you know, and shoot, man. Cousins. Like that says a lot. That speaks volumes, man.
That shit right there, that's the one part out of that whole documentary I was like, wow. And I also was like, I can believe it. Like you say, Nick, like a person look at me and be like, nah, AC, you ain't never had a fight with none of your brothers or cousins or nothing like that? I'm like, hell no, we ain't. You lying your ass off. You feel what I'm saying? Because people see how I go 0 to 100 just off some bullshit. So at the end of the day, man, that shit speaks volumes. That's control. That's respect. That's love, unconditional. That shit, I don't even know how you raised all of those boys and they never got into it like that. Boy, you must got a belt at least 3 inch thick and a couple of centimeters and a couple 3 inches wide and a couple of centimeters thick, bro. Cause they probably look at that belt and be like, I ain't fighting shit. Cause if I fight, Dad gonna get that belt, and yo, I ain't trying to get hit by that shit. So however Dad did it, congratulations, bro. You should get Father of the Year for every year. Cause you got 5 boys that ain't never fought each other.
And I seen they was making oils. They was like making these oils and fragrances, and he said they hung up. He said, man, when they decided that that's what they wanted to do, he closed up shop. I'm like, man, that is so much in that.
That right there. Yeah, go ahead, bro. Cook on.
But yeah, it's so much in that as far as the example. And it's crazy. I said this, man, because when everybody talk about the boxing dads, I'm like, well, this dude, it's the Mason 5. And I'm hearing that the youngest one, I'm hearing one, and I don't want to do this all the messy people. This is not to divide or separate, but they say the youngest one, according to the eyes, might be nicer than Mason. I'm like, yikes. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's an achievement, and for him to put his business aside and do that, and to have them reined in, because they boys, man, in that environment in Cleveland at that, to be.
Yeah.
You see all of the people that came out of Cleveland, and that, like Rasheed Warren, you see Prentice Brewer, you have AB, you have all the Sean Porter, you got all these people from Ohio, man. For him to have 5 boys that's nice like that and to be dedicated and disciplined like that, that's to be studied. But all these other boxing dads, they get all the heat for the negativity. But this is why I say people don't. Oh, Terrell Goucher, people don't really say or highlight the ones that's doing it the right way under the radar. They don't even get their credit.
Yeah, Joseph Brown's dad is another one of those dudes.
Joseph Brown, real cool dude, real level-headed dude. It was an honor. I actually asked for advice from my son from him. You know what I'm saying? Something that I could take away from.
Yeah. And I mean, when you got stand-up young men like that, it makes us old heads. And just to go back to a point that Body was making, yeah, we grew up in an era where the old heads always see us going to school. Then the one day they see us out of school, they like, yo, fuck you doing, youngin? Nah, I'm just hanging out. Nah, nigga, take your ass back to school, man. Fuck is wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
Get your education, bruh. For real, don't be like me. For real. They tell
you ain't nothing out here for you. They say ain't nothing out here for you.
Yeah, ain't nothing out here for you at this time. Take your ass back to school, man. But trouble. That's what you looking for, trouble? That shit'll find you. That shit'll find you in a heartbeat. So, yeah, like, you know, at the end of the day, Keyshawn needs an intervention. He needs someone to come in and sit him down and, you know, sit his family in front of him. Moms, pops, brothers, sisters, girl, baby. You was doing what you was doing for all of them. You wanted to bring all of them along. The repercussions of your actions in the last 24 hours or last 48 hours, how does that bring them along? And everybody now puts eyes on him. He got no choice. No choice. And if he get quiet, go get a mirror and put that shit in front of him. Since you want to sit there and quiet, look at yourself. Look at yourself and have those same thoughts and find an answer to the question that I just asked you. And look at yourself. And then when you're through looking at yourself, look at all the other people who are looking up to you, who are riding on you being the level-headed one, the businessman. If he ain't doing nothing like that, bro, he's making his comeback a lot harder. You feel what I'm saying? He can bounce back, but I'm not gonna be a person who's not gonna recognize. I don't remember the last time I saw something like this. You feel what I'm saying? Like the last time I saw anything close to this, the last time I seen anything close, I think it was an Andrew Galata situation and when Mike Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear?
I would have to be honest and say the closest thing I seen to this was probably Earl, man. Earl getting in that accident after that Sean Porter fight, and then learning that he pulled one of my moves, man. I did something like that. I don't think I got as messed up, you know what I'm saying, like that. But that's why I call him the machine in my box of the watch, man. That's why he's viewed as that, like, you a machine. But that's probably the, if I had to be honest about my guys, the ones that I looked up to as far as this boxing stuff, it was probably Earl and him doing that, you know, in that situation.
Yeah, because he did face the charges, all of those weird ass charges and the drunk driving shit.
Yeah, probably that. I mean, you know, but what I say is this: he got one strike with the marijuana thing, and then, you know, people never harped on that, the fact that that could be considered a masking agent, you know. But that was that, and for Top Rank to still believe and do all that, then he got strike 2 by just blowing the weight totally, like, with everybody was like 3 pounds or 2 pounds, or he was 4.3.
Yeah, you did in the division.
Yeah, like, he made weight for 140. Like, that's what people, his weight was shit. Some people might, it's around that much when you make it 140. You're like, oh, okay, cool. They had a couple ounces to spare, you know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. But that was for 140. And then the third strike was like that night with the assault. It's like, come on, bro. You gotta sit down, bro. All them people that was on your side, like I said earlier, all them people that was been on your side and singing your praises and, you know, gaslighting by not, you know, pointing out some of the hypocrisy and some of the things you were doing. They got to be the same people that you let in to give you that medicine that you need. That shit that don't taste so good, don't smell so good, but they tell you open up and swallow it. They got to give you that.
Yeah, so, like, the problem, the racist shit could be brushed away, and, you know, a big fight can be made off of that energy. But doing what you did, it's like, I didn't think old boy I thought he was capping at first. I was like, you lying your ass off. He ain't do no shit like that. And then I'm listening to him talk, and I'm like, wait a minute. I know this nigga didn't do no shit like that. Then right after that, I just seen a string of, like, people who caught that shit and posted it. People who were there and caught it and posted it, and I was just like, yeah, bro, I really don't know how you come back to this. You know, I was saying earlier, I thought he should go on an apology tour. You feel what I'm saying? Get out there, just keep repeating it, you know, whatever. People got to see. I'm like, people got to see your sincerity, the fact that you're being humble or whatever. But I just don't know. Maybe going dark is the best thing.
Yeah, he got to stay out of the media. He gotta stay out. He gotta stay out of the media's eye, man. But this is the irony, AC. This is what I found so ironic. I remember when Teofimo, because it was this thing where Top Rank had this NBF thing, you know, and T.O. was highlighting it, and between that and I guess some personal things that happened in his life, he went on this thing about black fighters, and he was like, well, Top Rank, they could have their, you know, black fighters and this and this and that. And then you see the push, then you see all of the glory and all of the, you know, Keyshawn being able to handpick Gustavo, and then Keyshawn being able to handpick De Los Santos, and, you know, how they fast-tracked him to get the belt and all of this stuff. And it's like, dang, bro, you kind of put some validity on what T.O. was saying about how Top Rank was doing, like how he felt based on his resume. And I'm not the one. I'm definitely, I always got to say this, I'm not the one to be taking up for T.O. right now. I'm just calling it straight down the middle. it's like you kind of y'all like brought validity to what T.O. was saying, man. And then you wet the bed with that, like, because if T.O. would have got that kind of love and that kind of support, like, yeah, they set him up to be able to become a champion and all that. He was spiking people and sparking people, but he didn't get fast tracked like that. And he didn't get that kind of backing from Top Rank. But then they give it to you, and it's basically like you give the world your ass to kiss, and it's like you give validity to him, and T.O. don't need no validity right now. He almost kind of need to be on his apology tour, his showing his remorse tour. But it's ironic that they do all of this for Keyshawn, and this is what he does.
Yeah, and that's the part that you know hurts his fans, because we're like, damn, Keith, damn. It's like finding out your homie you was just at the club, he was laughing and chilling with you, y'all was joking and shit like that, and you find out that he went down the block, got in his car, ran over a couple of motherfuckers, then went to the general store and shot the shit up. You like, what the fuck got in this nigga mind? Like, bruh, damn, man. Like, the one thing was bad, but then you compound the shit with the next shit right after that. Damn, bruh. The fuck, man. So it just makes it hard. So now what you did, you basically, you know, gave we'll see how it all boils down, but you basically gave Abdullah the keys to the mansion now, because Top Rank will now definitely be looking for someone to invest in. You feel what I'm saying? If Top Rank will sit a nigga down for beating somebody you wasn't supposed to beat, the fuck do you think they gonna do to you and your brothers?
And some other brothers about to get highlight, because now they like, shoot, because I was talking about this earlier where it was question marks around what Kelvin and Keon could do. I mean, I think people see the skill set Keon got, but people were questioning Kelvin, and it was kind of like a package deal. But with the Masons, they know what they got. They know them boys are disciplined. They know they come from a martial arts background to begin with before boxing. So they already know it's already an inherent set of skills in them. And they already see the conduct and all that. They just add water, so a whole nother set of brothers. It wasn't just Key, but that was DB3. Now it might be Mason 5. It's like, there used to be Morris Day in the time, and now it's Prince, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, so I mean, shit, bro. As fast, see, they gotta understand, man. It may take a minute to rise to the top, but the fall happens extremely fast. Takes a while to climb up something, but to fall off that shit, it's way less than half the time it took you to climb up there. So you don't want to get to the top or halfway to the top or somewhat to the top and then slip and fall. And now
he took the elevator. He took the elevator to the top and then took the balcony to the ground.
Exactly. He said, yeah, it looks like a nice day to jump. Let me just leap.
But look, I think this is a thing, right? And this is not something, because I know they'll have you walk around, because I felt like they did that to the Charlos, having walk around with a scarlet letter. I'm not saying he should walk around with a scarlet letter, but like, at least, because me and my lady talk about this, we talk about the young generation and how they have no shame. Like, remember back in the day with like drugs was like, it was a shameful thing. It was like, you know, you didn't want to be known that you do this. Now it's rap music. I pop pills and I do this and I drink lean, and so you bragging that's like, you know what I'm saying? It's no shame. But I think showing a little shame, showing a little remorse, because like even after the weigh-in, there was no shame, there was no remorse. It was like, I ain't make weight, it is what it is. It was no shame. It was no, like, you know what I'm saying? So I think showing a little bit of that side and being genuine in it, that'll be showing something where, you know, it looked like it's authentic. Like, it's not just like, oh yeah, I want to get another bag, so I'm just gonna say what I got. Like how T.O. be apologizing. We could tell that it ain't no shame. It ain't no, it's just, yeah, you want another bag. Like, you want another bag, so you gonna say whatever, you know, like with the turkey stuff. He just, you know, after all of that, he just apologized, but it wasn't really no shame, and he was just doing it because that's protocol to get back in the graces. Gotta show a little shame, show a little remorse, and make it authentic to where people believe in you, and then you can start. But you gotta feel that shit. You gotta, like, it gotta be believable, man.
Yeah.
Cause you messed up a bag, bro. You cost them, like, you let the op basically, cause yeah, it's almost like gangs when they decide, oh, look, man, we gonna cause a peace treaty until we get the Russians out of here, right? We gonna simmer down, right? But you let the ops just walk away with 400, damn near half a meal, and he ain't even bust a sweat. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you cost them a lot, and they had to pay everybody. And no matter, I mean, I don't know, you know, if Jay Prince is who he is, he might have got Abdullah a little extra something for being the main. You know what I'm saying? Like a good one would have been like, hey man, we're gonna need a couple more shillings.
I'm quite sure. You know, when they made that call to Abdullah, that shit made, you know, that shit had a whole nother number in front of it. Like, that money was real good that he made last night. And they said, listen, also, you beat this motherfucker ass. You got yourself a championship fight next.
Yeah, and Edwin, this speculation, because Jay Prince been wooing Edwin, you know what I'm saying? He been wooing Edwin, man. So Edwin might be part of the Jay Prince clan. And you saying, man, they said, what benefits could you offer Edwin? He said, man, I see a whole lot of I forgot how he worded it. Basically, he said, I see a whole lot of like green paper or something like that. He said, basically, a whole lot of revenue that he could be getting or something like that. He said. I was like, dang, man, you just, man, like, you know, I ain't gonna harp on it, man. I wanted to do this piece, man. Hopefully the man find what he find. But I wanted to more so highlight Abdullah, and show that, you know, for the guys, these guys like the tortoise in the hare. This is a perfect story. I've been using that analogy a lot lately, man. But the tortoise in the hare, bro. This is the tortoise in the hare, man. And the hare, I mean, the tortoise, slow and steady, doing what he need to do, being diligent in his craft, you know what I'm saying, being modest in his approach, keeping his head down, you know what I'm saying, and just, you know, working. And look where he at, man. So it's just a lesson. It's a bigger, broader lesson to all of the younger people out here that think they gotta be like Floyd and be boisterous and do that. No, be like Floyd, like Mason, and be in the discipline part. And let your hands talk inside the ring, and you can get there.
Yeah. And that's all we saying. Run your own race. Don't get caught up in the social media thing. Be active in social media, because in this era, that's one of the keys you need to be that draw. If they know you got a strong following behind you, then that's going to work. People like Abdullah Mason, Joseph Brown, they're building their following just off of just the love of boxing, and how, you know, when they post something, you know it's not going to be no goofy shit, so you could view it. You could have your kids view it. You could be like, yeah, my little 5-year-old man, he like boxing, so I give him the little boxing things, and we play around, and, you know, I let him watch Abdullah Mason. I let him watch, you know, Joseph Brown videos and stuff like that, and, you know, just so he can grow up with the right type of role models to look up to it and stuff like that, as long as these dudes' career pan out. But I know I could trust that their social media content is going to be more family oriented, or more wholesome, or more sports oriented, instead of the stuff that don't make you a good boxer, don't make you a better family man, and it don't make you, you know, more likable. So social media is a gift and a curse. If you use it right, you know, it'll have a benefit for you. You will see it reap its rewards. You feel what I'm saying? You'll find yourself A-side in a lot of situations, and you ain't got a belt. It's just because you got that big, massive ass following that cares about you. You know, that's key. Moving forward, when you're not in the ring, find a decent hobby that's outside of the nonsense. You know, read, draw, find something else. But at the end of the day, you just the same way you're busy during camp and when you got a fight coming up, you got to be just as busy when that shit is not happening. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Idle time is the devil's workshop, or the devil's playground, as they used to say when I was growing up. You feel what I'm saying? And for some people who don't get it, it's just if you got a bunch of time on your hands, that's the perfect time to fuck up. You feel what I'm saying?
And this is another thing to piggyback. That's a great point, man. Find a good hobby. But I always said, I came to this realization a couple years ago, about a decade ago. I said, how could you not be somewhere doing something wrong? You can be somewhere doing something right. If you somewhere doing something right, you can't be somewhere doing something wrong.
Exactly.
If you spending your time right, you can't be spending your time wrong at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So just gotta look at it like that, man, and be focused, man, because this game is so many opportunities. Some people that never even sniff about, never even get an opportunity, never even you could imagine. Like, it's still gonna be somebody's dream. Somebody gonna go pro tomorrow, you know, and never gonna taste the belt, never gonna get close. You know what I'm saying? Don't take it for granted, because one punch can change your life. You know what I'm saying? Don't lose it for nothing outside the ring. If one punch inside the ring could be over. You know what I'm saying? So redeem the time, value your time, you know, and be more like Abdullah, man. I got a lot of hope. I got a lot of hope for Abdullah. Oh, Bill's in the building.
Bill,
what up, Bill?
Bro?
Oh man, what it look like, man? I might be in a bad area, man. I'm damn driving, man. I see Chef Curry up here doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Bodywork?
What's happening, man?
Oh man. Hey, at the end of the day, man, when you fuck up, OG supposed to check you. Before you fuck up, OG supposed to check you. It ain't no excuse for the bullshit. You in your feelings, your brother got beat up. Cool. Somebody got to pull him to the side. Bowman got to pull him to the side. Bud got to pull him to the side and say, hey, man, what going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? This ain't what we do. You in your feelings, shit, your brother needs to start listening to direction. Like, he got caught a couple times, and the motherfucking, like Tyson said, everybody got a plan till they get hit in the mouth. Cool. Do your thing, though.
Cut out. Hello? You cut out. You cut out, Bills.
I'm on? You hear me?
Yeah, you on now.
Yeah, man. I said the problem is you talked all that shit at the press conference, and then you couldn't back that shit up. So, you know what I mean? I know you in your feelings. I know you want to headbutt motherfuckers like we in WWE, you know, on some Ric Flair shit. Cool. That's what you want to do to your head, cool. But hey, you know what I'm saying? If one of his homeboys, a goon would have came out the back and popped your ass with a bat, then they would have been wrong, right? You know what I'm saying? It's consequences to the shit you do. You thinking you can walk in the motherfucking locker room, but you don't know who in there with him. Motherfucker, it might be a motherfucker in there that's on their last meal and was hoping they homeboy won this fight.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And you coming in there on some bullshit. Hey, man, they ain't headbutt a motherfucker. Pop, motherfucker now.
Mm-hmm. You cut out again, Bills.
You hear me?
Yeah, now you back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to the damn grocery store, man, trying to get me some wine for this motherfucking clothes, man. Listen, Chef Curry, man, you know, you got to drink wine with the food. You know what I mean?
That nigga's you
but Bills, what do you think should happen going forward, man? Or how does he redeem himself? Or we know it's redeemable, right? He redeemable, but what should his game plan be?
I mean, his game plan should be shut the fuck up and do what Shakur do. Shakur, when he get mad, what he do? He go online. Nothing else. Do that. You mad about some shit? Just go online.
How does he recover from this?
Go online. Hey, I apologize. Be seen with little buddy. You need to go apologize to this man face to face. Be like, man, my.
You out again. You out again, Bills.
Well, hey, I just dropped the jewel on y'all, man. This shit just keep going in and out. Boy, I'm dropping bombs over here, man.
Say it again. Say it again real quick.
What I was saying was you need to go meet this man face to face and apologize, tell him you was wrong. You know what I'm saying? It ain't got to be filmed. Just keep it real. Like, man, I fucked up. That's on me. And keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? And leave it at that. Don't go online with no bullshit. But if you mad about something, just do like Shakur, go online and cuss motherfuckers out, show your feelings. And it is what it is. But right now, you need to motherfucking apologize to that man, because you did some shit you don't want nobody to do to you.
Yeah. I think Kelvin learned a lesson too, man, popping all that uncared. I seen that too. I said, man, I've been watching Kelvin. You know, I used to be a little more hype about Kelvin than I was about Keyshawn, because I saw his frame and his skill set. I said, man, if this dude just let his hands go and he train up a little bit, he'll be better. But like, he was all uncharacteristic in that press conference, trying to, I guess, glow up. I mean, it was humble pie for everybody, man. But Keyshawn, he did his thing. I think B&B, man, it was kind of like a rough night for them a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because Troy Osley, he slid by. Troy Osley, he slid by, you know, because that was a tough fight for Troy, man. But that old buddy with them Stretch Armstrong.
But he done slid by twice, though. Troy Osley, he growing, though. He getting a lot of experience with what's going on with him, though. Like, but with these young cats, though, they, like, I mean, it's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call, man.
I like Troy when he let his hands go. I like Troy when he get in there and let his hands go. He got some good combinations. You know.
Yeah, like Troy could get it in, but yeah, I did feel that he eked by that fight. It was really close to me. I felt that fight could have went either way, and I wouldn't have been mad, because it was a good fight. But you know, yeah, B&B did have a rough night. You feel what I'm saying? The way all of these antics go down, and you know, maybe there need to be some talk with people in the gym with Keyshawn. You know, to be like, nah, bro, you gotta really chill on some of the shit that you're doing. So we'll see, man. If they say they're a family like they say they are, you know, it is. You know, I'm expecting them to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? But you know what?
Down.
And that weight shit, none of that shit was in none of them promo joints. So, y'all are acting like a motherfucker. That nigga should get an Oscar award. So, you know, that's the way I feel about it. Maybe, you know, maybe some Academy and Oscars should be handed out for some of those performances that I saw.
Hey, y'all hear me?
Promo joint. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I'm saying, like, they don't need to talk to him. Let him sit on that. Let him sit on that. You gonna feel like, you know what I'm saying?
What, just put him in the house and nobody talk to him like that?
Yeah, yeah, hey. I mean, what we gotta tell you, you already know you fucked up. I mean, we grown out here, man. Like, once you reach $1 million, bro, I ain't gotta tell you shit. Cause I can't tell you shit. You You got you riding around. You got the chain. You got a new son. You talking about, you know what I'm saying? I'm being responsible, and I ain't with that type of shit. You trying to show you growed up, and then you just resorted back to the bullshit that you said you ain't doing no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, said, man, I got a son, man. I got responsibilities now, man. We ain't on that type of shit, on the business, man. And you just resorted back to the bullshit that we all thought you was away from.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's great for boxing. Anything negative or positive is great for boxing. You know what I'm saying? It's also great for the motherfucker that got headbutted. You know what I'm saying? Cause now you got motherfuckers that don't like Keyshawn that's a fan of yours. So anytime you fight, especially if you talking about running back at 140, you know what I'm saying? Like now we can see it in the ring. It seems like it might be some WWE type play shit for real. If y'all don't got no real beef after this. If he don't apologize or some shit, and then y'all ain't trying to fight again, and every time y'all see each other, there ain't no.
I hope that's not the case though, because that'll be, man. I'm done with these fake ass promotional schemes, man. If that's, and I think that's an easy way out, man. I hope Albright get another shot and he, continue to stay active, because he is a single dad and he been out the ring since that Keyshawn fight. So I hope he stay active.
Hey, let me ask you something though, Body. So he 140. What was that, though? What belt was that? I mean, what sanctioning body was that?
The international. Was it like an IBO?
So it was like a intercontinental, universal.
Yeah, it was like intercontinental something. It was.
So that was on some universal shit of all the sanctioning bodies. So who got the belt that Albright? I mean, he wasn't doing nothing special, but he did enough.
Albright got the belt because
WBC.
It was a WBC Intercontinental, some shit like
that.
that.
WBC USA Silver Super.
Oh, okay.
A silver. It was a silver. It was a WBC silver. So that put him in line for who was that? Puello.
Okay.
But he hadn't been at 40. I don't think he
that was his first fight at 40. This was his first fight at 40. That's what they said.
Yeah, but technically it wasn't, but it was. Like where he, how they do the catch weights, like the 137 and stuff. He done that a couple times, but he shared the ring with Jermaine Ortiz. I didn't even know that.
Oh, word?
He got washed, but he shared the ring with Jermaine Ortiz.
But hey, he just gained some fans, I'll tell you that much. He not gaining some fans.
Yeah, I wanted to stay active. But I don't want to see Kim and Keyshawn. I mean, not right. If they can build.
No, we don't want to see that. But he gained some fans. They were like, "Who was the old boy? You remember the motherfucker Keyshawn head buddy? Boom, you already in there."
Well, if he do it, he need to go up. He need to go up in Philly in their backyard. Then he need to go in there. He need to go in the dungeon. Then Keyshawn need to go in the dungeon and go in Philly if they gonna do that. Go on that man territory in Philly and try that shit.
Man, Keyshawn better go on here and try to fight for a title at 140 and quit bullshit. Like, bro, you talking about you don't want to pay for a belt. Like, them belts gonna bring you more money. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want no belt.
You better focus on making weight, because sometimes even when you get that extra grace and you go up there, if you ain't disciplined, you'll blow that weight too.
Oh, he ain't fucking up no more. I've
seen that happen. I've seen that happen. It'd be like, hold on, man, you moved up. How the hell you missed? Yeah, I've seen that before.
Man, he got double trouble.
He got focus, man. I don't want to continue to beat the man down, but I didn't get your take. What you said, he need to shut the fuck up, and if he get mad, go on social media and that's it.
That's it. Do what the rest of the young boys do. Don't go trying to beat nobody up, man. That physical shit gonna get you fucked up. You ain't in the street no more. Like, we already crucified Tank for getting into it with his baby mama. You know what I'm saying? We like, dude, you getting money. What did you know what I mean? But, you know, women will slap the shit out of you for no reason, and then you got to retaliate. But since you're a boxer.
He said women for no reason.
I mean, but that's why you ain't never heard me get on Tank about, you know, him getting into it with his baby mama, because I already know what time that is.
Bills, you be sitting there watching the fight, and your wife just walk past you, and be like, "What?" And you be like, "Oh shit! What the hell you done hit me for? What the hell you done hit?" She said, "I don't know, but I know you're gonna do something later."
Shit.
Bro.
Hey, man, hey, be women, man. Hey, especially being with them. Shit, I've been with mine since high school, so shit, I done seen it all, bro.
Oh, that's why you talk crazy.
Hey, motherfucker, I'm riding around with a cracked windshield now. Toxic. Motherfucker, toxic.
My lady, man, my lady would never do that, man. My lady, shit, we don't get down like that, man. We easy like Sunday morning, man. Best relationship I ever been in, man. That's like the least of the worries in my life, man. I'm glad I'm over all them kind of relationships. I ain't saying I ain't experienced no shit before, like with nobody else. I had my share of loonies, you know what I'm saying? Like I had to what they say. I had to kiss my share of whatever you want to call it, tadpoles.
Before you,
right.
Queen, you know what I'm saying? I mean, shit.
Yeah, we all.
I mean, my old lady good. She good now. But, you know, when they get mad, you know, I mean, I ain't, you know, I'm a little crazy my damn self. So I know the ins and outs.
I would have never believed that, Bill.
What?
She was a little crazy.
You wouldn't believe what? Man, go ahead, man. Y'all know I go ape shit from time to time, man. Shit, I be at work fucking with y'all, man. Shit, I'm getting me some wine now so I can function.
That's
I'm finna relax and eat, man. You know, I've seen y'all online. I say Chef Curry boy, I can't never get no clip with Chef Curry on, man. I'm gonna tell Smoke to mute his ass.
What you will before we close out, man? What you see for Abdullah, man? How you see his future, man? What you think about him?
Sky's the limit. Stay away from Shakur. That's all I say. I think this dude right here is a monster. He is a monster. Stay away from Shakur until you in your element, the way you know you got. You know what I mean? You not learned everything you need to learn. Stay away from Shakur. But motherfucker, hey, if they catch him early, they might get him. But like y'all say, once this motherfucker get into his bag, he gonna be a real problem.
Sure.
But shit, I'm gonna holler at y'all, man. Let me get back.
All right, Bills. Have a good evening, man.
Bills, you too. But yeah, buddy, I'm gonna close out with just Abdullah. I was super impressed with your performance last night. I was impressed with your poise last night. The fact that you were thrown in the spotlight and you just handled it like it was another fight. That right there shows me that you have the tangibles to handle the fame and the stardom that's coming your way. You got the discipline to handle it. You feel what I'm saying? And you have that level of confidence that when you get your belt, and it's just a matter of time, when you get your belt, you are going to be one of the most graceful, likable people's champs that we done seen in a very, very long time. And with that being said, bro, sky's the limit for you, man. I wish you all the best. Just the way you handled yourself this weekend and your performance, you know, you got a fan right now. You got a heavy fan right now. And that's why I'll leave it at that.
Well, good stuff as always, man. Thanks for your contribution to the channel, AC, man. Enjoy your evening, man. Hope you have a good week, bro.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
All right, we'll catch up. Yeah, man, another good cook, man. We just wanted to highlight, you know, the changing of the, it's almost like a changing of the guard over there at Top Rank, is to where, you know, damn near overnight, we look like we had a new face of Top Rank. And now we might got a new face of Top Rank. You know what I'm saying? I want to salute the young man and his family and how they go about handling business. And I'll land my plane here. I'll say, you know, Floyd Mayweather had an impact on boxing to where we can see it permeate throughout this generation of boxers, how they all want to talk like Floyd and get the money like Floyd and get all the praise and the prestige like Floyd. And it was his impact inside the ring, really, and his accomplishments and what he was able to do in the ring, which was his real secret. He just had a little gift of gab. He was a little charismatic with it, you know, but his skills paid the bills. You know, it didn't matter who it was. And I say he impacted this generation. Well, I said maybe there need to come along another individual. And I think Tank put his stamp on the game. You can see how people want to dress like him and do the hair like him, and they want to have the knockouts like him, you know, and you know they want to pack the seats like him, you know. Abdullah Mason can be one of those guys. And the way that he's going about the game is he let his hands talk inside the ring. Like AC said, he's a graceful champ. And I think that once he does get his hand on the strap and his reign starts, I think that he can probably change the sport as far as the young guys, because I'm thinking, man, the man gonna probably end up around welterweight, which is the glamour division, which would be the perfect division ultimately for him. You know, with that being the glamour division and the division of prestige, to where the young people are going to look up to him. They're going to say, oh, well, how did he do it? He was just sharp in that ring. He let his hands do the talking. He didn't have to talk no smack. And that's going to rub off on these young guys, man, in this era. And that's refreshing in today's day and time, where everybody's so braggadocious and, you know, vain. It's a lot of vain people out here. They want to have the biggest chains and all of the other stuff. And it's like, this guy right here is making the main thing and keeping it that way. So I wanted to highlight him and say, man, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. And hopefully, you know, Keyshawn can act more like an ambassador and not just an ass. And that's just being real with you, pulling your coattail. But salute to everybody who came in. Salute to Victor Cologne for their super chat, man. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for everybody who came through and said what's up to your boy and lended me your ear. Remember, this is Fruits and Veggies, not that Reggie. This is fact-based content, not opinion-based, even though we have ours. You know the motto, silence is consent, meaning that all it takes for evil to prevail is for grown men and women to remain silent. So we speak to things in real time. We don't go along with the flow. You know, hopefully you gained something. You was able to put something in your rucksack. I hope you have a wonderful week out there, man. Boxing is in a great place. Don't harp on the negative. Speak to it. But start looking at the young guys. Start looking at the future. Start getting acquainted with some other boxers, somebody that might not be on the radar, somebody that's not all in everybody's, you know, interviews, all of the main ones. Seek the one that's really doing something in these divisions and get to know them, man, because there's some treasures out there. I think Abdullah Mason is one of them. And with that, you know, I think I'm good. I'm out, man. Salute to everybody in the 300. Thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. Well, we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to